Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to talk about the spell Control Weather. All right, this is an 8th level spell, and if you're not a farmer, I don't know what you're doing with it.
You're ecologically destroying a civilization, probably. You're spending a lot of time around 4 miles away from a city you really hate, just making it perpetually the Arctic, is what I'd imagine. Because it's kind of all you really can do with this, outside of like really, really niche adventuring tools that at this point of the game, you probably don't need anymore.
I guess I'm the glasses half full guy in this pairing. All right. What does this spell do? What does Control Weather do?
Okay, this is an 8th level slot, but you're not really, I don't want to say, you're very infrequently going to be using this with a real spell slot. Most of the time you're doing this in between like long periods of rest. 10-minute cast time, which means this is uncastable in the vast majority of circumstances. This is something you're doing whenever you're out adventuring without imminent danger. 5-mile area is where you can target with this. The range itself, it affects the weather within 5 miles of you. It has a duration of 8 hours, and basically what you get to do is you take control of the weather, and over the course of a series of minutes, you can change the effective climate of the environment, a bunch of different stages. You change the temperature, the wind speed, and the precipitation. And this is all determined by a series of dice. So it takes 1d4 times 10 minutes to shift a condition from where you currently are to a more or less severe version of it. You can then do it again and again and again and again until you eventually get the conditions you want. Whenever the spell is over, everything returns to normal, but you basically get 8 hours of shifting the stuff. So you'll spend probably an hour-ish, 2 hours-ish if you're going from like one what's called extreme to the other. Yep. Most of the time you're going from somewhere middling, so it's going to take you like less than an hour, maybe an hour-ish, to go from middling to an extreme, which is where you probably are going with these. But for the most part, yeah, it's not all that exciting. The stages are, you go, so from unbearable heat to Arctic cold and temperature, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 stages. You have to fit somewhere in that scale. Most places are going to be warm, cool, cold, or hot, which are the middling ones. The wind speeds are calm, moderate, strong, gale, and storm. Precipitation is clear, light clouds, overcast, hail, snow, and then finally torrential rain, driving hail, or blizzard. So there's 6 stages on all of them. It's basically conjure a blizzard or make a drought in wherever you'd want. Those are the real use cases of it, and those use cases are not kind use cases. This is a way that I talked recently about Storm Event as being a way to like destroy an environment it should be this big flashy way to decimate something over a long period of time. That's basically what Control Weather does, and it's unusable in the vast majority of circumstances outside of that.
Even inside of that, who uses this as a player?
As a player, oh god. Let's say you've got a lot of downtime and are well hidden from an evil force that requires, like, let's say you got some kind of tropical baddie like a ancient red dragon. You freeze their lair over the course of 8 hours and hope they don't find you while the changes are occurring. I don't know if that's good, but it's something you can do.
8 hours, it all melts.
It slowly reverts back, yeah.
You've annoyed him.
Yeah, and then you just do it again. You continually do it. Maybe it kills all of his kobolds eventually. Maybe you force him to move. I don't know. Like this to me is something that you throw on an evil villain druid. This is to me something you throw on like a really vengeful storm giant that is sick and tired of the cities around the ocean. So he just turns the tropical paradise into Arctic blizzards all the time. It just makes it so they can't sail their ships and whatever. This very much feels like a powerful entity's plot device more than it really feels like something you as a player are going to want to actively do. It is adequately designed from making that effect occur, at least. Not having any effects stapled to these things gives you kind of the ability as a DM to flexibly let it be, maybe the blizzard does do cold damage to people who are in it for prolonged periods of time. There's probably rules in the DMG and stuff for how to navigate varying conditions like this. Also, I misspoke earlier. There's only 5 stages for wind, where there's 6 for the rest. Oh no, there's only 5 for precipitation. The only one that's 6 is temperature. It doesn't matter. It's all moot. The point is, for the most part, this is going to be something that you're going to be able to do some interesting stuff with as a DM while attacking the players. and I like that. If you are a player, I don't know why you'd want to cast this.
No, I guess like I said, all right. Yeah, you can go go travel around the countryside and there's a drought and make rain for the crops, but that doesn't sound a lot of fun, as far as a role-playing game goes. It's not, like maybe you do that in your downtime.
Yeah, that sounds like something you do with your druid whenever you've got a month-long vacation and you're like, okay, what do you guys do over the month? And you go, well, I heralded the rains down in Africa, right?
Yeah.
It's the very flavorful bit. You also get to take a really nice vacation. Just imagine it being exactly the temperature you want, exactly precipitation you want on those Bahama beaches all the time. Sure, make your own Bahamas, do it up. You could do that kind of effect with it. It doesn't have a great practical application. Like if you look at practical applications, we're looking at like what, hex crawling, where you're going through super hazardous environment and hex crawling and you're changing it from like unbearable heat to warm and just chilling in the nice cozy warmth and removing a pillar of play. But like at this tier, you probably had a large suite of ways between teleportation and other stuff where you just, that hex crawl isn't really happening anymore. If you are in that tier though, and that's the kind of game you're playing and you've decided with everyone, all right, we don't want to do the gruel, we don't want to do the teleportation, we want to enjoy the journey along the way, we want to go into a big exploration game with hex tiles and miles and calculations like that stuff, this just removes weather as a problem. At this stage, that's probably fine. For an 8th level slot, you probably deserve something that powerful. That's still like, of the tables that want to do that kind of hex crawl, those that get to 8th level spells, we're talking hundreds of people, literally. So this isn't going to affect the vast majority of the community or people that actually would like want that practical effect. It's nice that it exists for that reason, but it is definitely not affecting 99% of tables.
All right. There's a volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Lava is flowing toward the village. You make it really cold.
Nailed it.
The lava hardens. Now you got a nice protective decorative wall around the village. Probably not going to happen every game.
Sure. You can also do things like prismatic walls and I don't know, there's got to be other things that stop a slow roll of volcanic lava. I guess
Yeah,
it deals
you
with
just
the slope
stop
and
it,
stuff
but you
too.
can't get that flowing look that it has when it solidifies. And
Sure.
yeah, you can put up a wall of force, but then you've just got this like flat wall. That's nice, but
The strong, you can't get Pompeii when the strong and gale storms blow all the soot away, right? Hypothetically, or more realistically, you just have a soot tornado. That doesn't seem great, but it's something you could do. If there's a volcanic eruption, I don't know. That like, have you ever played in a game where you're supposed to stop a volcano from erupting like that? Does that happen in
never.
any games? Probably a few, but yeah.
My role here, Sam. I'm trying to make something.
Trying to make lemonade out of lemons. I got you. I think this one's too sour. Yeah, I think this spell could be fun as a role-playing tool. I think it's relatively innocent, and it does, while the effect doesn't like impact gameplay, it is a world-changing kind of effect. This is a thing that is good that it exists. It doesn't need to be a player spell, but as a player spell, it's relatively harmless because it gives you something that makes you feel powerful. At least like being able to say, I'm the druid, I literally control the weather. That is a top-end fantasy. That is selling the idea of the control over nature element of the upper level druids. That's fine. Existing for that reason alone, and then also being a neat little way to involve like negotiating with storm giants, dealing with really angry ancient blue dragons that are sick and tired of all those pirates and whatnot, just decimating landscapes. That is a decent use case for it as well. That I'm glad it exists. This is a spell that I wish didn't exist in this way. I think it does its job well. I think it does the job serviceably. I don't think it's that good though.
I got nothing else to say about it. You?
Nope.
Score?
I think that I don't like to split them often, but I will split this one. DM tool, this is a 3 out of 5. I actually think there's a lot of great ways to do plot hooks with this. I think there's a lot of great ways that you can show a really powerful baddie that isn't just like capital E evil killing everyone, but instead just like making the weather so abysmal that you can't go into a specific terrain or territory, using magic in a way that is detrimental to travel and detrimental in interesting ways that isn't necessarily I cloud kill everyone, right? I think that's good for that case. I think that it existing in the realm of like world building is useful. On a player, this is a 1. I would go as far to say this is something you flavorfully take whenever you're long resting. That's all it will ever be used for. If you're preparing this when you're going on an adventure with the anticipation of casting 8th level spells, you probably should have just prepared anything else because you're never going to really use this.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 2 across the board. Snore.
Sure.
All right. Well, that was control weather.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for listening and watching. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.